Selamat Tahun Baru Cina. Hari ini adalah hari kedua CNY dan kita masih lagi dalam musim perayaan, dan di Astro ni kami bawakan pelbagai segmen khas musim perayaan ini. Sudah tentu, namun dalam suasana kegembiraan ini sudah tentu kita tidak terlepas pandang untuk meneliti bagaimanakah perkembangan Malaysia setakat ini, dan kita akan memberi fokus dalam pelbagai aspek. Tapi kali ini kita nak beri tumpuan khusus kepada teknologi digital termasuk dengan e-dagang. Dan bercakap mengenai platform ataupun lonjakan e-dagang ni memang membuka peluang ekonomi yang sangat besar, tetapi ia juga mendorong kepada banyak penipuan, seperti kalau kita lihat pertikaian, manipulasi harga, termasuk juga dengan pertikaian pengguna yang semakin meningkat. Dan dengan puluhan ribuan aduan yang telah diterima, kalau kita dapat report hanya beberapa tahun, jelas ekosistem digital ni lebih laju daripada penyelesaian itu sendiri. Dan kini Kementerian Perdagangan Dalam Negeri dan Kos Sara Hidup KPDM mencadangkan platform online dispute resolution ODR, iaitu adalah sistem digital hujung ke hujung untuk memfail, menilai dan memutuskan pertikaian platform e-dagang tanpa proses fizikal tradisional yang agak lama. Dan sudah tentu persoalan besar, adakah ini sekadar naik taraf teknikal ataupun reformasi struktur untuk kita memastikan ekosistem digital ataupun platform e-dagang ini lebih selamat. Sudah tentu kita akan bawakan pakar untuk bersama kami untuk membedah isu ini dari sudut dasar pelaksanaan, bagaimanakah impaknya dan sejauh manakah ODR ini mampu menjadi game changer untuk ekosistem e-dagang dan keseluruhan ekosistem digital di Malaysia. Sekali lagi saya nak memperkenalkan tamu yang sentiasa bersama kami untuk menjelaskan, untuk beri penerangan. Muhammad Sirajuddin Jalil, Presiden Persatuan Pengguna Cyber Malaysia MCCA. Okey, sudah tentu apabila bercakap mengenai musim perayaan, ramai orang shopping sebenarnya. Musim kalau kita lihat raya dan iaitu sekarang ni musim perayaan Tahun Baru Cina, ramai akan gunakan platform e-dagang yang banyak e-dagang ni daripada peniaga sehinggalah pengguna, bukan pengguna domestik sehingga keluar negara ada. Tetapi mungkin para industri melihat ataupun para peniaga melihat ODR ni sesuatu yang baik, tetapi mungkin ramai yang tak faham kat luar sana. Mungkin bantu kami faham apa online dispute resolution ODR ni.
Okey, terima kasih Nina. Okay, basically ODR ni adalah satu penambahbaikan daripada satu kaedah dipanggil ADR ataupun Alternative Dispute Resolution yang tradisional dan dah lama. Contoh paling mudah lah pada pendengar Astro AWANI, Tribunal Tuntutan Pengguna Malaysia, TTPM. Itu contoh paling mudah kalau orang nak faham apa tu ADR. Dan proses di TTPM ni melibatkan satu proses fizikal yang mana pengguna yang nak buat proses resolusi nak buat satu-satu tuntutan terhadap penjual, dia kena hadir secara fizikal ke pejabat-pejabat KPDN, khususnya TTPM itu Tribunal Tuntutan Pengguna, untuk dia nak dapatkan tuntutan dia lah terhadap penjual yang tak bertanggungjawab ni. Maka proses manual ni membuatkan tempoh masa yang panjang, limitasi terhadap pembeli itu tadi, mungkin lokasinya jauh, kemudian mungkin dari sudut kekangan tenaga kerja di TTPM tu sendiri, nak menguruskan maklumat, dokumentasi. Jadi benda tu akhirnya merugikan semua pihak, khususnya terutamanya pihak pengguna. Kemudian dia memberikan kesukaran juga kepada pihak pengendali ADR itu sendiri, yang mana dokumen banyak dan juga melibatkan kesulitan untuk apabila maklumat-maklumat seperti maklumat penjual itu kadang-kadang limited. Dan akhirnya itu yang kita lalulah sekian tahun ni. Dan tahun ni kita ada banyak perbincangan di bawah Kementerian Perdagangan Dalam Negeri. Dan masa yang sama juga saya saya mewakili juga Majlis Penasihat Pengguna Negara di bawah KPDN itu sendiri, yang mana tahun ini kita akan banyak membincangkan tentang platform e-dagang. Kalau TTPM itu nak menguruskan soal jual beli di platform e-dagang, sudah pasti banyak kejanggalan. Sebab urusan pembelian dalam talian. Nak menguruskan tuntutan tu secara fizikal. Jadi ada canggungan kah dekat dalam urusan itu. Jadi kementerian mengambil inisiatif yang agak proaktif, yang mana proses menaik taraf ataupun menambah baik ADR kepada online. Maknanya daripada fizikal kepada secara dalam talian dipanggil ODR, Online Dispute Resolution. Jadi yang ini pihak menteri sendiri maknanya menyatakan di parlimen memfokus kepada isu-isu berkait tentang e-dagang terutamanya, dan mungkin kehadapan ni apa saja isu-isu yang bukan e-dagang pun akan dapat manfaat lah melalui kaedah ODR yang dapat membantu memudahkan pengguna, tak perlu lagi pergi ke pejabat fizikal. Dia boleh log in ke website ODR yang akan disediakan, kemudian buat pelaporan, kemudian menunggulah proses untuk dispute itu berlaku. Dan sudah pasti e-dagang hari ini, platform e-dagang itu sendiri bukan bersifat tempatan. Kita ni pengguna tegar, pengguna e-dagang, platform e-dagang itu yang datang daripada luar. Baik A, baik B, baik C, berpangkalan di Singapura, berpangkalan ada yang daripada negara Cina, dan pelbagai ada daripada Amerika Syarikat. Sudah pasti memberikan kesukaran kepada pihak kerajaan nak mediate dan juga pihak pengguna yang merasakan mereka tertindas. Jadi dalam proses ini kita sebenarnya setuju dengan kementerian meletakkan ini sebagai satu wacana perbincangan melibatkan supaya lebih ramai pihak dapat terlibat memberikan pandangan dan idea supaya sistem ODR itu menjadi sangat inklusif. Ada tidak silo lah. Dan dalam masa yang sama juga proses ODR juga akan melibatkan perkongsian data-data tertentu bagi memudahkan proses tuntutan oleh pihak pengguna, dan data-data tertentu juga melibatkan satu proses ataupun tata kelola yang tertentu juga supaya apabila seseorang matlamat yang tak lari, supaya akhirnya bila pengguna itu menghadapi masalah dengan penjual dalam talian, proses menuntutnya bukan hanya mudah melibatkan engagement, fizikal berubah ke digital, bahkan ke tahap yang saya yakin kementerian dalam usaha ke arah itu memastikan proses tuntutan itu berlaku dengan cepat. Seiring dengan proses kita membeli barang online lebih cepat daripada pergi ke kedai, jadi tuntutan kita terhadap penjual yang tak bertanggungjawab ni, baik dia menipu ke, kita beli barang-barang kata rupanya macam A, sekali rupanya barang tu dah ada filter, jadi gambar lain, sampai kat kita pun berbeza. Jadi tuntutan itu dapat dibuat seiring dengan tempoh masa proses pembelian. Jadi itu yang kita
It's
harap.
fair lah.
It's a fair. Jadi ODR ni dah pun cadangan itu pemulanya telah pun dimulakan oleh Yang Berhormat Menteri KPDN itu sendiri, Wabi Datuk Armizan. Jadi sekarang ni mana-mana pihak seperti NGO ataupun aktivis pengguna ataupun masyarakat pengguna itu sendiri sepatutnya cakna tentang ODR ni, sebab usaha kerajaan ni nak pastikan pengguna terbela. Tanpa ada orang panggil apa, ruang kelabu yang dapat dieksploitasi oleh pihak pengguna tak bertanggungjawab. Jadi ini adalah sepatutnya menjadi perbualan dan perbincangan rakyat Malaysia.
Kita bukan nak masih mereka selamat shopping, tapi kita nak pastikan mereka selamat daripada penipuan, eksploitasi. Dan seperti yang Syirah kongsikan, ini adalah untuk manfaatkan pengguna, untuk memudahkan mereka, tak perlu pergi fizikal, online. Lepas tu lagi satu, perjalanan dah mudah, save cost. Lepas tu proses pun makin laju bila kita buat online. Tetapi pada pandangan Siraj sendiri, kita nak lihat pandangan pakar, adakah kita melihat proses aduan ni digitalisasikan ataupun kita sedang melihat perubahan struktur dalam tadbir urus platform e-dagang?
Perubahan struktur sebenarnya, sebab kita ada Akta Perdagangan Elektronik seawal 2006 sebenarnya, tetapi penjelasan daripada pihak Kementerian Perdagangan Dalam Negeri bahawa tahun ini akan berlaku total revise terhadap akta itu, menutupi segala kelompongan. Yalah, 2006, hari ni dah 2026, 20 tahun dah ni dah. 20 tahun ni kita sendiri pun sebagai generasi yang merasa perubahan drastik e-dagang tu sendiri. Jadi kita jangan cakap pasal soal fizikal pergi ke online. Ni e-dagang tu sendiri pun berbeza landscape-nya, tahap kebergantungannya pun berbeza berbandingkan 20 tahun lepas, dan juga tahap inovasinya pun berbeza. Hari ni bukan takat e-dagang tu, hanya e-dagang dulunya 2006 dulu, portal website abc.com. Kita pun beli di situ, dapat pembayaran. Hari ni dah ada e-dagang berpusat seperti platform tertentulah, kan platform A, platform B, platform C, yang mana setiap hari rakyat. Ada juga platform yang bergabung dengan platform media sosial, dipanggil social commerce. Memberikan banyak kelompongan perundangan, dan akhirnya kalau dia disalah disalah guna oleh pihak penjual, akhirnya merugikan pengguna, ditambah dengan isu berkait tentang scam. Dan isu itu juga antara yang dilaporkan kepada pihak seperti tribunal, yang mana mereka ini menjadi mangsa kepada scam. Mana penjual pun tipu. Tak dikenali pun penjual tu, dia menjual barang pun barang yang tak dihantar, penjual pun sebenarnya tak wujud. Jadi bagaimana nak menyelesaikan isu tu, macam mana nak buat dispute terhadap isu sebegini. That's why isu ini perlu ada structural reform, melibatkan kerangka e-dagang itu sendiri. Dan insyaAllah tahun ini kita akan melihat kepimpinan melalui Kementerian Perdagangan Dalam Negeri itu akan mengubah banyak dari sudut perundangan landscape e-dagang itu sendiri.
Tadi kita bercakap mengenai keseluruhan ekosistem e-dagang bergerak pantas, dan bukan sahaja teknologi itu harus evolve, policy, takbir urus tu pun harus evolve. Namun mungkin boleh bantu kami kalau kita nak bukan cakap ADR sistem teruk ataupun it's not good, tapi kita tahu peralihan teknologi push us to go to ODR. Mungkin boleh bantu kami faham apa kelompongan ataupun kelemahan daripada ADR yang membuatkan keputusan untuk pergi kepada ODR ini. Penting untuk kita faham itu, dan bagaimana ADR tu untuk kita pastikan ia bukan sekadar cepatkan proses, tapi dia betul-betul dapat menyelesaikan masalah.
Okay, saya nampak isu soal data tu sendiri. Bila proses yang ADR, bukan kata dia tak bagus. ADR ni dah serve rakyat Malaysia sekian lama. Dan ramai pun yang berjaya mendapat tuntutan dia melalui tribunal tuntutan pengguna sebagai contoh. Tetapi hari ni teknologi bergerak lebih jauh, sehingga pembuatan polisi dan dasar itu
tak boleh nak catch up.
Sukar untuk catch up. Jadi akhirnya hari ni 2026 ni kerajaan melalui KPDN itu sendiri merombak banyak perkara lah, supaya at least tak dapat mendahului teknologi, at least tidak pun duduk di par lah. Kan? Maknanya bagaimana proses pembelian tu cepat, maka proses menuntut kalau ada berlaku masalah dengan pembelian tu pun cepat. Jadi saya nampak kelompongannya ada melibatkan data, sebab bila pembelian dalam talian ni online purchasing, dia melibatkan total data. Daripada kita berurusan peniaga tu, maklumat peniaga dalam tu, adakah dia berintegrasi dengan maklumat di kerajaan? Adakah peniaga-peniaga dalam platform e-dagang itu berdaftar dengan Suruhanjaya Syarikat Malaysia? Adakah mereka itu merupakan rakyat Malaysia? Dan kita hakikat hari ini e-dagang itu, peniaga-peniaganya wujud juga daripada luar negara. Dan ada barang dihantar terus daripada negara Cina sebagainya, paling banyak. Daripada Cina kilang terus hantar ke sini, menyebabkan harganya tak boleh disaing. Ini tajuk bezalah sikit, di bawah MyCC. Suruhanjaya Persaingan kan. Jadi MyCC pun di bawah KPDN. Jadi itu ada satu isu lain. Tetapi rangkumannya bila nyebut e-dagang, banyak kelompongan itu yang tidak diisi dengan peraturan dan undang-undang kita. Jadi mungkin saya sendiri personally harapkan supaya bila adanya ODR ini, ada satu pematuhan yang wajib, tetapan yang dahulu mungkin sebagai satu guideline. Tetapi hari ini kalau boleh dijadi, tahun 2006 menjadikan satu undang-undang mandatori, supaya mungkin peniaga akan rasa kurang selesa sikit sebab kena tambah satu step, dua step untuk dia nak teruskan berniaga. Tetapi yakinlah ini adalah jaminan dan usaha untuk memberi keterjaminan terhadap pengguna daripada ditipu oleh peniaga yang nak eksploitasi pengguna itu sendiri. Peniaga yang betul tak ada isu. Dan saya yakin kalau ada tetapan apa pun yang kerajaan letakkan, contohnya mewajibkan pendaftaran SSM pada semua peniaga e-dagang. Dahulu ni tak wajib. Mana individu pun boleh berniaga. Tapi at least hari ni bukalah akaun SSM tu enterprise. Tak perlu senambahan. Dan ada mekanisme yang mudah nak register SSM pun online juga. Jadi kalau kerajaan dah sediakan seawal itu untuk memudahkan, tinggal kerajaan minta mereka ni semua berdaftar Dan mungkin ada perkongsian data juga melibatkan platform e-dagang itu sendiri dengan kementerian. Supaya kita dapat mengurangkan eksploitasi pengguna, khusus pengguna yang nak scam mangsa. Kan? Jadi kat sini maknanya akan berlaku tapisan lah. Mana mereka yang gagal, berpotensi akaun jualan mereka itu dibeku ataupun ditutup terus. Kemudian antara isu lain adalah bila nak dispute pembayaran tu. Maknanya tuntutan tu melibatkan tuntutan wang contoh kan. Dia beli barang, tak dapat. Jadi nak duit dia balik. Jadi mungkin akan ada melalui ODR ini pembaikan daripada ADR dulu, contohnya melibatkan proses nak return balik. Sebab dia bayar pun digital. So return dia should be in digital. Kalau dulu ADR ni mungkin juga pembayaran melibatkan fizikal, dia bayar cash, dia bayar pakai cek and so on, dan pembayaran semula mungkin boleh jadi dalam bentuk yang sama, cek ataupun cash. Tapi bila pembayaran online, peniaganya pun tak tahu kedudukannya di mana. Jadi kelompongan itu perlu juga dimasukkan dalam kerangka yang nak dibuat ataupun diimplementasikan oleh kerajaan itu, melibatkan proses pembayaran semula. Kalau e-dagang yang besar, gergasi ni, mereka ada escrow. Maknanya bila peniaga menghantar pembeli membeli barang, membuat pembayaran, duit pembeli itu sendiri akan ada di escrow dalam akaun syarikat e-dagang tu sendiri. That's why kita akan kata receive barang, tak receive dalam platform-platform tertentu ni. Dan kalau kata kita receive, puas hati, baru kita release.
Yes.
Okay, dan pembeli baru boleh ambil duit tu. Tetapi sekiranya barang tu tak seperti yang sepatutnya, kita boleh buat dispute di dalam platform tu sendiri dan penjual itu tak dapatlah duit tu. Kan? Okay, contoh. Jadi platform e-dagang tu tidak terhad kepada platform seperti itu. Ada yang buat abc.com masih, dan ada yang buat landing page tertentu di platform media sosial sebagai contoh, Facebook Marketplace, Instagram Marketplace. Yang ni bagaimana? Yang tu tidak ada, mereka tidak menyediakan sebarang escrow untuk penjual dan pembeli membuat transaksi. Jadi kelonggaran di sini sudah pasti menjadi perbincangan juga di peringkat KPDN itu supaya dapat menyeragamkan prosedur. Jadi saya tertarik dengan guideline yang dah diumum tahun lepas. Guideline itu adalah meletakkan syarat sebenarnya untuk semua peniaga dalam talian meletakkan maklumat syarikat. Maklumat dia. At least paling tidak dia ABC Resources ke, ABC Enterprise ke. So untuk dia supaya menunjukkan validity dia sebagai penjual, secara tak langsung memberikan nilai kepercayaan lah kepada penjual itu. Tetapi bagaimanapun, walau bagaimanapun, seolah-olah ia tidak disambut lagi oleh di kalangan penjual di sini. Jadi that's why bila ada satu agenda yang lebih konkret macam kerajaan KPDN nak buat ODR ni, cuma kita harapkan kaedah komunikasi tu lebih merakyat lah. Sebab term ODR ni ada orang yang profesional mungkin mudah faham. Tetapi ramai, majoriti di Malaysia ni adalah orang yang pelbagai. Dan absolutely bila term dia tu agak sukar orang nak faham, jadi orang tak nak ambil tahu. Tetapi bila dia kena, mana beli barang tak dapat, dia mula kan. Dia mula mencari ruang untuk
Tapi sudah tentu kita lihat ODR ni adalah untuk memastikan peniaga lebih berdisiplin, bertanggungjawab dan tidak kongsikan tadi melihat kepada kita penyedia platform ni banyak daripada luar. Kita pengguna aktif yang banyak sebenarnya. So memang penting untuk kita beri fokus kepada kesejahteraan pengguna itu sendiri. Tapi tidak juga ada cakap tadi mengenai ini akan mempengaruhi daripada segi pendekatan ataupun pekerjaan bersama. Tak boleh silo.
Tak boleh silo.
Tapi adakah itu antara cabaran yang terbesar biasanya? Sebenarnya bukan teknologi, digital, proses, tapi sebenarnya integrasi institusi itu sendiri. Jadi soalan paling main lah, siapa sepatutnya yang jadi owner dalam sistem ODR itu?
Absolutely KPDN. Sebab ODR ni dibuat sebenarnya memfokus kepada pengguna itu sendiri. Yang nak buat dispute ni majoriti, boleh katakan pengguna lah. Jarang-jarang lah penjual tu buat nak buat dispute dengan pembeli kan. Dan yang membayar tu actually pembeli lah. Jadi ODR ni, saya nak ambil sikit perbandingan. Ada agensi kerajaan yang berjaya mewujudkan online ODR ni sebenarnya. Contohnya Suruhanjaya Komunikasi Multimedia. aduan.skmm.gov.my tu sebenarnya satu platform yang aduan yang sangat, dia fully online. Dah tak ada, memang tak wujud langsung sebarang physical reporting hari ni. Pergilah ke Menara MCMC tu, memang akan dia suruh buat online juga. Dan mereka ada platform seperti forum pengguna komunikasi multimedia sebagai contoh. Mereka ada forum pengguna, forum content sebagai contoh. Dan ada 2 lagi forum poster dan juga forum technical standard di bawah MCMC, di bawah ATA, komunikasi dan multimedia. Jadi ODR ni, dia melibatkan kepenggunaan yang bukan terhad kepada komunikasi. Macam di MCMC ni melibatkan perkhidmatan komunikasi, telekomunikasi. Jadi bagaimana dengan perkhidmatan lain? Construction, ada orang nak renovate rumah sebagai contoh. Kan, dia tengok online, dia pun subscribe to services through online. Kan. Kemudian pembayaran dibuat online, akhirnya benda tu sebahagiannya tak menepati seperti apa yang pembeli ataupun pengguna ni harapkanlah. Kemudian pelaporan itu kalau dibuat melalui online, maka prosesnya berlaku untuk penyerahan dokumen dan sebagainya berlaku dengan sangat mudah dan cepat. Dan pengurusan di peringkat kementerian pula, contoh di KPDN, adanya tribunal itu tadi, untuk membuat contohnya maklum balas pun akan berlaku dengan lebih cepat. That's why saya tengok ada satu success story di dalam kerajaan itu sendiri, seperti di MCMC boleh jadi rujukan oleh pihak KPDN yang sepatutnya menjalankan ODR dan telah pun diumumkan oleh menteri itu sendiri. Dan kita sepatutnya membuat satu kerangka yang bukan hanya PAR, contoh di MCMC agak advance. Sepatutnya jauh lebih baik, lebih baguslah persaingan yang hebat antara 2 agensi yang berbeza ni, supaya akhirnya dia memberi manfaat secara langsung kepada pengguna itu tadi. Okay. Dan hari ni kita ada banyak teknologi advance seperti AI. Mungkin pertambahan teknologi AI itu sendiri di penggunaan AI yang seperti digalakkan oleh Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri sendiri, menggalakkan apa dia panggil, bukan digitalisasi, kalau AI-nisasi lah kan, AI-nisasi kepada semua jentera kerajaan tu, khusus dalam front facing berdepan dengan pengguna itu, menggunakan AI supaya proses itu dapat memudahkan bukan hanya pengguna itu tadi, memudahkan pengurusan mereka yang nak menguruskan aduan ataupun nak buat dispute itu tadi.
Bercakap mengenai ODR ni, mungkin daripada segi reka bentuk integrasi sistem dia, kita mungkin masih memerlukan lebih banyak informasi untuk memahami. Tapi mungkin saya nak campurkanlah apabila kita cakap mengenai AI ni. Adakah kita patut integrate AI dalam ODR ni untuk mengawal ataupun untuk mengurus kes awal ini, untuk kesan bagaimanakah antara corak-corak scam ni, and paling penting bagaimana untuk kita memastikan AI ni tidak bias kepada algoritma.
AI penting. Hari ini memang sangat penting, dan kita sendiri pun sebagai orang, macam Nina sendiri sebagai orang dalam media kan, rasa kesan dia tu banyak proses yang berjaya dimudahkan lah. Dan khusus dalam melibatkan kita nak memahami satu subjek, topik. Nina setiap hari dengar topik, bercakap topik beza kan. Jadi ada kadang-kadang kita ni terhad nak buka buku lambat. Kadang-kadang kita nak hanya tahu poin-poin tertentu melibatkan subjek yang kita nak bincang. Masuklah kat dalam pengurusan kerajaan. Benda yang nak di-AI kan itu adalah dokumen dan data. Dan AI ini sendiri berfungsi untuk mengurus takbir data supaya data itu dapat dipermudahkan kepada pengguna itu tadi. Jadi pengurusan data yang menggunakan AI sebenarnya jauh lebih efisien daripada pengurusan data yang tidak ada AI-nya. Jadi kalau ada implementasi AI dalam pengurusan data itu tadi, sepatutnya dia akan mempercepatkan proses pengurusan. Bila pengurusan cepat, maka feedback balik kepada pengguna itu pun lebih cepat. Dan kalau ada fungsi AI pula di peringkat pengguna untuk buat aduan, tak semua pengadu ni tahu macam mana dia nak mengadu.
Betul. Dia nak describe lagi masalah dia.
Mungkin pihak kerajaan boleh wujudkan chatbot sendiri yang supaya setiap orang berbeza kaedah komunikasinya dapat menyampaikan apa masalah yang dia lalui. Kalau hari ni mungkin soal kita klik pilihan segmen, sektor dan sebagainya. Tapi akhirnya mungkin sebabkan dia cara melapor tu salah, akhirnya disalah tafsir oleh pihak kerajaan yang nak buat ODR ni ataupun ADR dulu, akhirnya salah saluran untuk buat penyelesaian. Akhirnya ending masalah tak selesai. Jadi mungkin dengan AI ni, kita tengoklah hari ni contohnya ChatGPT ataupun Grok dan sebagainya, kalau kita type bahasa Kelantan pun dia faham. Kita type bahasa Sarawak pun, logat Sarawak pun dia faham. Jadi maknanya teknologi itu dah ada. Tinggal di-extract teknologi itu, diimplementasikan secara sovereign di dalam Kementerian Perdagangan Dalam Negeri itu sendiri sebagai contoh, yang mana pengguna siapa-siapa saja pun, berlatar belakang apa pun, tahap bahasa macam mana pun, dapat menyampaikan masalahnya dan dapat difahami oleh pihak kerajaan dalam mengurus pelaporan yang dibuat oleh mereka itu tadi. Dan that's why cakap penting AI tu. Tetapi kebergantungan AI seperti yang kita faham ni, kita guna contohnya ChatGPT lah. Kita guna ChatGPT yang bias tu bila kita bergantung. Sebab data raya yang ada dalam ChatGPT tu sendiri bercampur-campur. Kalau AI dipekat kepercayaan ni, tidaklah seperti kita guna ChatGPT tu. Dia boleh bangunkan LLM sendiri dan ada syarikat-syarikat vendor-vendor di luar ini yang tempatan memang ada kerja-kerja membangunkan LLM bahasa Melayu sebagai contoh, yang mana vendor seperti ini yang dapat membantu pihak kerajaan untuk membangunkan AI yang memudahkan proses ODR itu tadi. Kan jadi kita nampak benda tu ada, tinggal it's like a Lego lah kan, mix and fix, and then supaya benda tu akhirnya jadi satu gambaran yang komplit dan pengguna dapat manfaat dia.
ODR ni beri harapan untuk platform e-dagang kita bergerak ke hadapan. Tetapi kita masih banyak lagi perkara yang perlu kita lakukan.
Banyak.
Tapi mungkin apa yang boleh belajar daripada negara-negara lain yang boleh diadaptasi oleh Malaysia, terutama negara yang mereka adalah penyedia utama platform perkhidmatan, mereka juga adalah mempunyai banyak pengguna aktif.
Saya tak nak ambil negara lain lah. Kita ambil negara paling aktif dan paling advance dalam ODR ni adalah Cina. Dan negara Cina ni paling ke depan dalam soal digital. Apa saja sebut digital dan teknologi ni Cina, negara Cina kan. Dan baik dari sudut kaedah pembayaran, mereka antara yang paling awal berjaya menerapkan kewajipan menjadi mandatori kepada seluruh rakyat dia menggunakan contohnya WeChat Pay sebagai contoh. Jadi itu kaedah di Cina, dan sudah pasti bila dia ke tahap push pengguna tu menjadi fully digital, sudah pasti kesediaan di peringkat kerajaan dia itu untuk membantu rakyat dia berdepan dengan masalah-masalah jual beli di dalam talian itu sudah ready lah. Dan that's why kita sukar nak mendengar di Cina ni, di dada-dada akhbar, soal masalah mereka melibatkan penjual dan pembeli. Kerana mungkin satu faktor undang-undang mereka yang sangat ketat di Cina ini, dan orang yang melakukan kesalahan seperti scam ini hukumannya sangat berat. Dan baru ni saya tengok sebagai contoh, ni selingan sikit, mereka yang buat scam di China, di Kemboja, dihantar pulang ke China, hukumannya tembak mati di China. Jadi itu, that's why benda tu agak berat hukuman mereka yang mengeksploitasi urus niaga ni di China, ditambah dengan mekanisme pelaporan ODR mereka tu yang advance dari sudut mudah capaian. China besar ni nak.
Besar.
Kan? Bayangkan duduk di luar bandar, di provinsi-provinsi tertentu, dan bagaimana mereka mengurus takbir itu adalah satu benda yang patut banyak kita kena belajar dengan negara gergasi ini. Jadi di Malaysia ni, negara kita kecil sikit. Jadi bukanlah kita ni baru dari sudut ODR ni. Sebab tu saya kata mesti di peringkat MCMC, ada juga di perkhidmatan lain yang mungkin niche untuk kelompok tertentu pun menggunakan online. Cuma di KPDN ni dia merangkumi keseluruhan kepenggunaan. Kecuali mana-mana yang dah digazetkan bukan bidang dia lah. Macam contohnya melibatkan pengangkutan, jual beli kereta. Hari ni pun jual beli kereta pun dah semakin online. Kita tak pergi dah kedai used car ataupun kedai-kedai yang yalah mana-mana showroom kan. Jadi hari ni pun dah online, marketing pun online, kaedah beli bayaran dokumen semua pun online. Dan contohnya lain, sebagai contoh beli mangga harum manis. Mangga harum manis saya setiap tahun memang akan beli online. Dan saya beli tu bukan di platform e-dagang luar ni. Saya beli kadang melalui Instagram. Dan mereka akan ada proses pergi kepada FPX, online payment dan sebagainya. Jadi kalau platform yang sebegini tidak diselaraskan ODR-nya, maka kita akan masih banyak kelompokan. Dan kita harapkan kita ambil iktibar daripada negara-negara yang maju seperti Cina dan mungkin di Amerika Syarikat juga, yang antara pelopor awal e-dagang ni, kita dapat mengurangkan risiko kerugian kepada pengguna.
Dan risiko adalah amat penting untuk kita menilai, bukan saja menilai peluang, macam mana nak tingkatkan sale, tapi macam mana nak pastikan mereka selamat daripada penipuan. Dan lonjakan ekonomi digital memang buka ruang yang sangat besar untuk pengguna, untuk keseluruhan ekosistem. Tapi tanpa sistem yang selamat, yang jelas, kepercayaan ataupun keyakinan pengguna tu akan terhakis. Dan kita lihat ODR ni jadi sebagai asas kepada keadilan digital, tetapi ia perlu disokong seperti yang Siraj kongsi, disokong oleh kerangka undang-undang yang lebih tegas, lebih jelas, integrasi data, dan ini harus diintegrasikan dalam pembentukan sistem ini. Dan kita tahu ia bukan sekadar teknologi tapi ia sekadar kepercayaan. Sekali lagi saya nak ucapkan terima kasih untuk kepuasan ini dan teruskan bersama kami untuk segmen seterusnya. Saya nak ucapkan terima kasih kepada Muhammad Sirajuddin Jalil iaitu Presiden Persatuan Pengguna Cyber Malaysia MCCA, termasuk juga penasihat pengguna negara di bawah KPDN, dan sudah tu setiap perkongsian ini akan kami rangkumkan dalam astrowani.com dan di semua platform digital Astro Awani.
Saya pilih Unify Business.
Mereka ada penyelesaian untuk kejayaan yang lebih jelas. Unify G Business Mobile, majukan saya. Go Bukit, uruskan segalanya.
Internet grade perniagaan, meluaskan rangkaian.
Solusi pemasaran digital, melebarkan capaian. Layanan prioriti, menyinangkan lagi perniagaan.
Perkembangan digital meningkat pantas dengan program Impact Biz.
Tingkatkan perniagaan anda dengan Unify Business hari ini.
Aiskrim Cadbury Hazelnut Baharu. Anda pasti tepikan.
Saya pilih Unify Business.
Mereka ada penyelesaian untuk kejayaan yang lebih jelas. Unify G Business Mobile, majukan saya. Go Bukit, uruskan segalanya.
Internet grade perniagaan, meluaskan rangkaian.
Solusi pemasaran digital, melebarkan capaian. Layanan prioriti, menyinangkan lagi perniagaan.
Perkembangan digital meningkat pantas dengan program Impact Biz.
Tingkatkan perniagaan anda dengan Unify Business hari ini.
Allah dah set from the top.
Siri terkenal dan mencuit hati kini kembali.
Pindah. Mak Jah tak nak ikut Adlan. Tapi bila dia pujuk pindah dengan dia, jadi Mak Jah terpaksa lah. Kau cakap dengan adik-adik kau ni, taubat anak. Taubat anak.
Taubat anak.
Syurga under fit aku tau.
Bila bersama keluarga Iskandar 3, lagi jadi di Astro Ria dan Astro Go.
Buli di sekolah. Isu ini bukan perkara baru.
Buli tertakluk kepada perbuatan agresif secara fizikal.
Apa sebenarnya Jerabu punca utama yang menyumbang kepada masalah ini serta kesannya kepada kesihatan kita?
Mereka akan mengalami iritasi kepada mata. Selain itu, iritasi kepada saluran pernafasan.
Thank you for tuning in to AWANI as festive shopping surges online and in-store, so do cyber risk. Lots of shopping, lots of deals, and unfortunately lots of scammers waiting to take advantage. So today we're cutting through the noise with practical guidance to keep organizations and consumers protected. So joining us is Subalakshmi Ganapati, Chief IT Security Evangelist at Manage Engine. Good morning, Subalakshmi. Great to have you. And let's get straight into what people need to know now. With the festive season upon us, higher transaction volumes, heavier marketing traffic, and distracted users, people are rushing to buy things online, clicking on promotions and preying on the go. So what kinds of scams or cyber threats should both organizations and everyday consumers be extra careful about right now? Are there certain tricks scammers tend to use more during this time of the year?
Thank you for having me and wishing you all a very advanced Happy New Year. And when it comes to, like festive season, there has always been, like the cyber attacks that has been happening, leveraging people shopping online and making the transactions online. The predominant scam that happens is phishing, where you click the malicious link and then you get to reveal your credit card details and it will end up leading to the financial scam. So most importantly, when such festive season occurs, or the year-end sales occurs, it's predominantly phishing leading to the financial scam for the consumers. And when it comes to organizations, it's going to be the holiday season with lean staffing. So they will try to break the glass and break into the security and steal the data that the attackers need to sell it in the dark web. So these are some things that people need to be aware of. And watch out and be vigilant before every click that they make during the festive season is really important.
What are early indicators that you see on these scams, especially during festive season?
So this scam usually is mimicking now that the Gen AI has come into pictures. The phishing emails are no longer mimicking the Nigerian prince old phishing content. It's going to be even more prompt, even more accurate when it comes to the tone, the language, and the method of delivery is going to be more accurate. So finding that will be very very tricky. So it's no longer just breaking into the system, but just logging in using the credential stealing. So once the phishing email comes into the inbox and when they click on the link, they reveal the credentials, predominantly the username and the password for probably the bank account or probably the organizational account that they use, and which will be used to break into the defense system. So this is more of the account takeovers or the credential stealing threat that we usually during the year end or the festive season. And once that is done using the anomalous logins, the lateral movement happens to increase the impact or the blast radius of the attack. So usually within the initial movement, they try to spread within the network stealthily without having to notice. So increasing the blast radius or the impact of the attack and thereby compromising more systems, more data, more servers, and navigating to the critical infrastructure, leading to the complaints violation. So these are some of the usual patterns that we see used during the festive season, starting from phishing, then the anomalous login, then the lateral movement, and then the compromise of the critical infrastructure.
Thank you for elaborating on the prevalent scams such as the fake e-commerce and also data phishing tactics that emerge during this period. But one thing we hear a lot about is fake online shopping websites, pages that look real but are actually traps. And of course, the endless messages that telling you you've won a prize or that your parcel couldn't be delivered. So can you walk us through how these scams usually work in simple terms, and what are easier signs for a regular person to look out for? Maybe things like odd website addresses, that is too good to be true deals, or requests for personal details, what consumers should do.
So again, everything starts from phishing, and probably the payload gets installed when it comes to the online scams. So it is very important for us to double check the link before we click on and verify whether we are paying the right people or the right organization is really essential. With all the QR code scams and the online scams up to the mark and increase on year, we need to be very careful on watching out the link. We have to ensure that we have the secured online website, that is where the payment or the purchase is happening. We need to ensure whether we are clicking on the link that has HTTPS, not just the HTTP. And that is one of the common basic cyber hygiene that we can practice when we were doing online purchase, especially during this time. And second, doubly ensuring before you pay, setting up the OTPs and to your account and not revealing the OTPs whenever there is an online scam or call that is happening. That is the second cyber hygiene that we can practice. And the third thing is whenever you are doing a QR code payment, doubly ensure with the organization or with the payment party that the QR code is not tampered, so that the quishing doesn't happen. So these are some of the basic hygiene that we need to take into account when we are doing the online purchases during these hours.
But during high risk peaks, security needs to be both preventive and resilient at the same time. So for organizations and businesses, the stakes are even higher because a single attack can actually affect many customers. So during busy seasons like this, when everyone's distracted, what are some of the most effective security tools or habits that can actually help keep systems safe? And even simple things like stronger passwords or double checking emails, what really makes a difference during high risk periods if you compare to a low risk periods?
Yeah. So during this high risk period, when it comes to organizations, we need to ensure that the systems are changing. The perimeter is no longer just the firewall, it is going to be the user identities. Like I was saying before, they are not going to break in, they are just going to log in using the existing credentials. So that it's very difficult for us to find out the first instance of anomalous logons because it always sound or look legit. So, depending on or strengthening the identity security by implementing multi-factor authentication for the logins and by adopting, privilege of POLP, the privilege of the permissions to the least privileges, and the zero trust implementation of the zero trust is really essential. So, whenever the identity logs in, every time the credential is verified and only the permissions that are needed to perform certain actions are given to the users, and the permissions are reviewed every time with a proper identity and access management solution and the tools to monitor the privileged users activity, and overall the user behavior and analytics monitoring is all that is needed for an organizations to continuously monitor the user behavior, the permissions given to the users, the logons that are happening, and the suspicious logon detection using, the tools such as the SIEM or the threat detection and response is essential. So this is one part covering the identities, but there are also devices which the users use or the employees use. That could be their mobiles or laptop. And with bring your own device on the rise, we need to ensure that these devices are also secured and not having the vulnerabilities that can be exploited by the attackers. So ensuring that both the users and the devices are secured and employing the tools such as the UEM, Unified Endpoint Management, or anything that ensures the identity security and threat detection are essential for organization, especially during the high risk period.
Amazing. But realistic speaking, we know that cyber criminals are always evolving and the scams seem to get smarter every year. So looking ahead, Suba, what new emerging types of cyber threats do you think we'll be seeing in the coming years? And how is Manage Engine preparing to help users stay one step ahead?
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, this is going to be a critical season, especially the last couple of years. The landscape is changing a lot with the advent of Gen AI coming into the picture, where we are using from the defense mechanisms, we are using AI to improve the accuracy of the defense. The adversaries or the attackers are also employing AI to conduct the attack in a more perfect manner and to make more impact of it. Especially the accuracy and the impact of the attack has been increased with the advent of AI, especially the agentic AI that like polymorphizes the ransomware strings and take decisions on their own based on the defense mechanism that the organization has employed and find out the vulnerabilities that the organization has in a more accurate way. So this is going to change the way the ransomware operate, the way phishing operates. It's going to change a lot. And similarly, vendors like Manage Engine and us are focusing a large on how to incorporate AI to find out these accurate attacks. And also, we are seeing a lot of cyber skills shortages across the world. They're overwhelmed with alert fatigue, or they're overwhelmed with the attacks during the lean period and all of that. So it's going to be the employment of AI to augment the analyst, to augment the security operations of the organizations to find out the attack quick, and to implement the platformization is going to be Manage Engine's approach, because visibility is one of the problem when it comes to cybersecurity, as tools work in silos. So we are working on to provide a holistic unified platform where they can orchestrate among the different tools, where the visibility is completely given through the platform integration, and where the customizability comes as a part of the platform framework, and AI sits on top of the platform, extending the AI capability across the tools and reducing the blind spots. These are going to be Manage Engine's approach to handle these rising cyber threats and sophisticated attacks.
How are you from Manage Engine, for instance, actually do to preparing through perhaps, for example, behavioral analytics, graph-based identity risk scoring, and also automated playbooks, all these technological and technical terms to actually help the consumers to be aware in the future?
Yeah. So the Manage Engine's approach to platform is built on 4 pillars, like the extensibility, integrability, customizability, and programmability. So we make our tools very homegrown. It's not bought, it's built on our own. So it talks to each other, the analytics platform and the the endpoint management platform, and starting from there, and the user and identity management platform, and threat detection and response platform, and together they sum up into the IT services management. All of these things talk to each other. The data flow is going to be very seamless, and it's going to provide a customized visualization as well as the module level customizations for the organizations or bigger enterprises. And it's going to be very easy to use in terms of adopting the programmability using the low code approach. And on top of that, the orchestration framework comes into picture, and the analytics framework comes into picture. And these will reduce the blind spots, and these will provide you the more visibility and find out the threats, reducing the mean time to detect, mean time to investigate, and mean time to respond with automated orchestrations. So providing the unified security platform by bringing all the IT stack together is going to be Manage Engine's approach towards the growing cybersecurity landscape.
Amazing. Thank you so much. That was Subalakshmi Kanapati, the Chief IT Security Evangelist from Manage Engine. So the key message here is to verify before you click and authenticate before you pay and monitor before you scale. So for organizations, first test your controls now, and for consumers, trust your skepticism. So stay safe this festive season, and we have a lot more update after this. So we'll go for a short break. We'll be right back.
Saya pilih Unify Business.
Mereka ada penyelesaian untuk kejayaan yang lebih jelas. Unify G Business Mobile, majukan saya. Go Bukit, uruskan segalanya.
Internet grade perniagaan, meluaskan rangkaian.
Solusi pemasaran digital, melebarkan capaian. Layanan prioriti, menyinangkan lagi perniagaan.
Perkembangan digital meningkat pantas dengan program Impact Biz.
Tingkatkan perniagaan anda dengan Unify Business hari ini.
Ada yang perdebatan bahawa GST perlu dikembalikan semula kerana ada yang mempertikaikan bahawa SST itu tidak efektif.
Isu buruh kanak-kanak bukan sahaja dalam bentuk fizikal tetapi juga bentuk moden yang lebih licik dan juga terselindung.
Kita tengok buruh kanak-kanak dan ada juga buruh paksa kanak-kanak.
Perkumpulan FB dikenali sebagai grup budak-budak sekolah rendah yang didakwa menyebarkan gambar remaja perempuan tidak senonoh telah pun ditutup.
Saya pilih Unify Business.
Mereka ada penyelesaian untuk kejayaan yang lebih jelas. Unify G Business Mobile, majukan saya. Go Bukit, uruskan segalanya.
Internet grade perniagaan, meluaskan rangkaian.
Solusi pemasaran digital, melebarkan capaian. Layanan prioriti, menyinangkan lagi perniagaan.
Perkembangan digital meningkat pantas dengan program Impact Biz.
Tingkatkan perniagaan anda dengan Unify Business hari ini. Rasai kehebatan sebenar dengan pak sukan Astro. Debanan dalam setiap perlombaan. Ketepatan dalam setiap perlawanan. Kemenangan dalam setiap detik. Home of Sports. Hanya di Astro.
Saya dah semak surat nikah ibu ayah Cik Mariam. Si Jini tak sah.
Kalau nikah mak dengan abang tak sah, jadi kita orang ni apa benda?
Zakir, Umi takkan restu sampai mati.
Dok cakap kita ni anak. Umi selalu ajar mak untuk hormat orang. Tapi Umi sendiri cepat jatuh hukum. Macam Umi itu Tuhan.
Cinta saja tak cukup, Mama.
Akad yang hilang. Sewa dan stream on demand atau sila ke saluran 480.
Hamas says it is fully prepared to hand over administrative authority in Gaza to a newly formed Palestinian Technocratic Committee. The US president cannot threaten his way into owning Greenland, an autonomous territory of Denmark.
The AI boom is no longer just about a technology story, but it's a power story. As Malaysia attracts more AI investment, more data centers, electricity demands is getting higher, denser, and more continuous than traditional loads. And as we can see, global discussion, including at the World Economic Forum, also warns that AI and hyperscale data could sharply increase the power consumption for this decade, putting pressures on grid, storage, and even energy security. And for now, so the critical question is definitely we have to ask, is not how fast Malaysia is adopting and how fast we are growing our digital economy, but whether our infrastructure is ready for it. And for this segment, we're going to speak to expert to examine the numbers, the risks, and what happened next to make sure the AI is aligned with the national grid stability and sustainability. And for that, I welcome you, our guest. Ready in the studio with us is Ko Sean Zhang, the group CEO and co-founder of Plus X Energy. I want to say thank you very much, Ko, for joining me. Definitely for 2026, we're still talking about more of the boom of AI, data centers, and a lot of power consumption in many ways.
Yep.
And global projections also suggest that data center electricities could nearly double by 2030, according to AI scenarios. With Malaysia rapidly attracting AI investments, data center, the main question, has our national load forecast has been revised specifically for AI-driven demands? What's your thought on this?
Yeah, I would say definitely it's something looks good that there's a lot of investment on data center coming into Malaysia. And definitely the question is because as we understand for AI, the key things, there's a 5 layer of the structure, and the key fundamental of to build the AI up to the end user to use it, like the AI agent, what we are using today. Actually, the first thing first, before the infrastructure, is about the energy source. And that's the reason why we are seeing whether is Malaysia ready for that. And for Malaysia, I would say so when we want to build a data center, it's quite important for them to look into power source and also the water source as well. Because energy source and also cooling is always very important. That's why if you look into the whole Malaysia, I would say right now, Peninsula definitely, right now in Johor and also in this Selangor, is quite a good place for that. And if you look into the whole country infrastructure grid and on the energy side, right now Malaysia Peninsula, in terms of energy power generation, is about 25 gigawatt. Yeah, it's about 25 gigawatt.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is good enough for the existing, like the base load and those load that demand on the population and also the economic growth from time being. So for data center, recently, I would say the existing previously in beginning of last year, actually is less than 1 gigawatt. And I would say right now it's almost like double up.
It's double, correct?
Yeah. So I would say to move on, there's based on the news which they mentioned they are coming in to the country, those MOU signing and also those like Google and also like Microsoft
Investment
who mentioned on this, it could step up to about the range is quite wide, can be up to 4 gigawatt to 8 gigawatt in the next 5 to 10 years range. Yeah. So based on that, right now the question is, when our grid is only ready for 25, how do we literally able to catch up for the next potentially like 4-5 gigawatt in the next 5 years? For example, if all this is coming, if let's say AI data center, this investment is not a bubble, it's something real. So I would say definitely it's not 100% ready. Yeah, because of most of this energy is coming in. If we are going to build the energy supply based on the traditional energy, there are few challenges here. First of all, they are not green energy. And today, most of those data centers who operate from overseas, they need to have a green energy. And secondly, those power plant, it could be really long. That
Mhm.
in order to build it, it could be about 4 to 5 years time.
Mhm.
And data center, we know the demand is huge, is fast. So we need something which is able to catch all the speed as well. So based on this, I would say the country definitely right now on the national grid, ST and also TNB, really look into the proper planning based on this demand from existing grid and how to capture and also to fill the gap from the clean energy
Mhm.
based on this corporate renewable energy supply scheme, Khas, is also in place. So I would say all this on the grid on the national level in the country, I would say is all in plan. It's all in plan. So that's why this is. I would say this data center which coming in definitely it would able to drive some foreign investment in, but the grid readiness is have to based on stage by stage. And
Mhm.
also renewable energy definitely is the answer. So like solar and storage and come with a policy like Khas in place is important. And definitely, I would say this have to grow few things concurrently. So first of all, about how to plan on the energy side
Mhm.
for those like Johor and also in the Selangor area for the existing data center to come in on the existing power demand, the load and supply side. Secondly, for those infra on the energy side, let's say on the data center come in the probably 18, 24 months, they need to up one data centers. So how soon is that local distribution in terms of energy readiness is important as well to plan for ahead. At the same time, it's about the midterm. At the same time, how can they offset whatever the CO2 emission which they emit?
Mm.
Yeah, by clean energy. And the
Mhm.
clean energy plant have to build concurrently as well. Yeah, so I would say definitely the existing and beside that, one very important thing is our national grid have to literally moving towards to smart grid.
Mm.
So when the grid is smarter, which means we are able to capture more renewable energy. Yeah. So when we have more renewable energy, for example, like solar, it will be the main energy resources in the country. We need the grid to be more stabilized with energy storage, like battery storage as well. So smart grid, power generation from solar, energy storage like BESS, which is battery energy storage system in place. All these have to run concurrently on the grid upgrade, on the grid planning, on the infrastructure readiness. Yeah, so I would say right now, Malaysia, we are literally going through this. And so far, I
Okay.
would say looks still
All right.
in place. Yeah.
Correct. And definitely this is the requirements for us to be
Yep.
in great readiness.
Yep.
And talking about data centers, investment, Google, Microsoft is coming.
Yeah.
It's a very great investment, but now we have to think about, can this investment not only help to build, but can we sustain with this investment is definitely
Mhm.
very important. And what is quite interesting for me is for all the requirements that we need to be ready
Mhm.
in all this development,
Mhm.
in reality, in which part of our system that is not ready yet? Is it
Mhm.
the generation, transmission, or distribution?
Okay. For Malaysia, in terms of our transmission distribution, definitely I would say in Peninsula
Mhm.
is one of the strongest in Southeast Asia. Yeah, I think this is something that we are quite proud of. But I would say right now the immediate one definitely is on the generation part.
Okay.
Yeah, that's on the because as I mentioned, it's only 25 gigawatt, and when you have another additional 4 gigawatt coming in, definitely we need to supply more energy on that.
Okay.
And definitely from time being, I would say it's important. Yeah, also literally it will become urgent. It will be on the grid infrastructures improvement, especially on the grid stabilizations.
Mm.
Yeah, that is important. So that's why if we look into the latest tariff change, this 1st of July last year, we were able to find out in terms of the tariff which they charge to the rakyat on the home
Okay.
user and also for the factory or commercial user who are at the low voltage side.
Mhm.
Actually, the government, which we lower the kilowatt hour charges in RM. But in order to upgrade the whole country grid infrastructure, some have to pay for that. That's why we find out in terms of the those like maximum demand charges, which
Yes.
only happen for the medium voltage, those are heavy industry,
Okay.
which actually the charges over there also like almost like triple up. Yeah. So that is where the country able to have a fund able to maintain or even to upgrade the grid infrastructures step by step from there. So definitely someone have to pay for that. Definitely the upgrade of the infrastructure is important. But I will see right now the immediate one definitely is mainly on the energy generation. And this is not just happened in Malaysia. If we look into the US state and also China in terms of the competition in AI, people like Jensen Wang or Elon Musk, they did mention China is much ahead because their energy power infrastructure
It's
is
huge.
much more
Yeah.
ready compared with US. So the same thing it will be happening in Malaysia as well. And this definitely will create a lot of opportunity as well in the country.
It's also I also would like to pick up with what you mentioned earlier, that you said that for us to be ready, that this is the important elements that we need to take a look at for smart technology, smart grid, and the storage.
Yep.
Storage is very, very important. Not only talking about, even for our mobile phones, storage is also important.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about data center, and talking about we know that many Malaysian solar plus BSS project currently provide around 2 until 4 hours of storage. But for 24/7 AI and hyperscale data center operation, is that technically sufficient? How can we catch up?
Okay, so I would say right now in terms of solar energy, definitely the cost of generation is quite competitive compared with the traditional energy from traditional power generation. But when you go for solar plus BESS, which is the energy storage, the cost will be higher. That's why right now, in terms of solar plus BESS to totally replace the traditional energy, the cost definitely is still higher. That's why right now, I would say the energy storage function, it would not dare to plus together with like solar energy to totally replace the traditional energy, but it will play a role for few things. First of all, as a grid stabilizer. For the places which you have a demand and a supply mismatching places, which you have able to have a storage there in this area to stabilize it. That's the first thing on the grid level. If let's say we go for the factory level, so why it's only like 2 to 4 hours is because if we go for longer hour, totally want to replace it, the cost will be very high.
Yeah.
But if we go for 2 to 4 hours, like to stabilize for the peak period for the hour in the country at that in one day is possible. Or even though for factory, because right now for factory or for data centers, usually they will have these peak demand charges, which is from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. So when you have a battery there, able to lower down this peak demand period, which is like 2 to 4 hours, I would say is quite good enough to stabilize it. So that's why right now the battery is become a medium, to neutralize, to stabilize on the demand side and also on the supply side. But from time being, it still can't go for longer hour because the cost does matter. It's something it can't have a better ROI in terms of investment.
In terms of investment.
Yeah, correct.
And very important for us to like sustain this investment beyond the investment timeline. And let's talk about PPA, power purchase. And definitely this is something that we know that large data centers in Malaysia is increasingly use corporate PPAs and even green power programs. And from this, when grid becomes, we can say becomes tight, and could like long-term contracts also distorts pricing signals or indirectly affect tariff on different users. What's your thoughts on this and how can we manage?
Okay, so right now I would say in country these grid charges, the way of how ST and also on TNB side to structure it, I would say is quite sustainable, because right now all the fundamental is still back to the normal grid charges from the ST as well the electricity code. So for PPA, in terms of the discount, in terms of the clean energy, let's say how many percent cheaper compared with the traditional energy. If let's say this energy solar system or battery is at your premise, definitely the discount can go bigger.
All right.
So actually everything was still back to the grid. I mean the open public tariff code. The tariff charges. So and for the one who would like to purchase for clean energy, they will enjoy some certain discount. It just depends on your solar is on the side or your solar is at the other side. If let's say like Khas, this program, your data center can be in Johor, but you can build a solar farm at Kedah. Yeah, so this under Khas program, because your land in Johor could be quite expensive, and the solar irradiance at Kedah is much better. So I can have another solar farm there, and I just buy the power from Kedah to Johor for me to use. But throughout this progress, I need to pay a toll fee, which is a wheeling charges to pay to the this grid operator. So definitely these charges have to pay them to maintain the whole infrastructures. So I would say all these structures, right, it's quite well structured that only for the user who want to purchase on clean energy, they have to pay for it. Or maybe they could have some saving on that. So it would not really affect those existing tariff code, especially for rakyat or for other small SME business owner. Yeah. So the way of how we structure it is quite well categorized it. Yeah, but the way of how we structure it is also have to make sure for the clean energy purchaser able to buy the energy in a cleaner and also a cheaper way. Yeah.
And also, we need to think about all the small players. What are some of the safeguard measurements that we can ensure for smallest users are not indirectly exposed to price distortion?
Yeah, I would say right now, they are all quite safe because if we look into the whole electricity tariff structure, for low voltage, actually right now, if you look into the kilowatt hour charges compared with 1st of July before last year, actually right now has become lower. So the country actually we still need more clean energy, this demand, and also like more energy demand, more power have to generate. But you will see the whole infrastructures maintenance costs, they are all mainly focused on heavy industry, like medium voltage, these categories of energy consumer and above. So it could be middle voltage, high voltage, or ultra high voltage. They are the one who have to pay for the bill. So this is how the country, I would say, ring fence it. Yeah. And they are the one who need the most clean energy as well. So when they pay for that, I would say it's a kind of the fair system and also the fair structures.
And also, Malaysia is both for digital hub and also developing economy with growing industrial and household demand. How do we ensure that AI and data center loads do not especially crowd out manufacturing, SMEs, or even public infrastructure energy needs?
Yeah, I think this is one of a very important question because we do understand definitely the investment for data center coming in is good for the economy. Yeah, especially on the construction side, on the energy side. But for long run, in terms of job opportunity, it might not as big if compared with like manufacturing because data center you don't need much people to operate it. So definitely, I would say this in terms of how to manage it. This is something which I strongly believe on our countryside. In terms of government side, they know how to work on it. But in terms of the energy side, from our understanding as an energy industry player, for this SME or let's say for the mid-tier corporate who are running factory and a business is always there. In terms of the energy supply is always there. That's why for data center, in order to come in, they have to apply. Yeah, which they have to apply for the new infra, they have to apply for this new supply. Yeah, so this is how the grid operator, they try to ring fence it. And most of them actually, they need to sign up Khas as well, which is to build solar energy battery system to offset, to increase those new power demand. So definitely, I would say right now, that's why it's good that right now, this rush of a data center coming into a country, in order to build it is not too overwhelmed or super fast. Yeah, it's like literally like half gigawatt, then slowly go to 1 gigawatt, another 1.5 gigawatt from time to time. I think based on this speed, in terms of stabilize the grid readiness and do not affect those SME business, mom and pop business, I think still there.
It's very important for us to like growth, but also protect all these small stakeholders. And should energy-intensive digital projects be evaluated based on economic value created per megawatt consumed? Actually,
yeah, I think definitely we should. Yeah, because it's also quite arguable when people talk about like data center coming in. Is what kind of economic contribution it will bring as well. Yeah, that's why I would say that everything we have to come into a balancing point. Yeah, because like a factory, definitely it could be getting more local business to export. Yeah, because this is something to grow for country economy, first thing. Yeah,
Mhm.
because we are doing bottom Malaysia and then we are selling out to the country. I think there's always that we have to protect it. Secondly, for one factory, definitely we need to have labor or we need to have manpower in terms of white collar, blue collar. So the job opportunity is always there. So I would say this definitely is the sector that the government that shouldn't miss out. And from what I'm seeing right now, is still quite well protected from energy in terms of the distribution on that, because this always come into a priority. Yeah, so for data center, it's always the special zone in terms of a grid, the energy planning for that. So I would say right now we still see some harmonize at this beginning stage, and I hope this will be able to monitor and track well. Yeah, so it will not always not to affect those mom and pop business or the rest of other Malaysia brand or Malaysia company.
All right, let's give it a situation where we are in a very constrained supply scenario.
Mhm.
How should Malaysia prioritize or balance between, we can say, data centers, manufacturings, and
Mhm.
even public services, as we know that it's tough time?
Yeah. Okay, I would say definitely right now, if we look into the whole country economic, I agree. The tough time on the businesses side is crucial right now, because we do understand in the different industry
Yeah.
right now in terms of like from China to Malaysia to like trade war, all these things. Actually, not everyone they have a very good business. So I think in terms of lower down the energy bill is something quite helpful for those the business owner. And right now, like the battery technology able to lower down their maximum demand in terms of the charges to the grid. But investment on battery right now can be less than 5 years, can be less than 4 years. It can be also share a lot of burden for those manufacturers in the country, because I think manufacturers always the engine to build economy of a country. I think all this new technology and also investment on energy side is so far, I would say, still able to share the burden for them. So because if you look into manufacturing, they always have a three largest cost, which is manpower cost, this energy cost, and also raw material. So as long as energy side able to manage well with a different technology in terms of investment that lower down the bill, I think is there. Yeah, we have to make them stay competitive, and the rest have to depends on each company how competitive are them. Yeah. However, if you look into the macro point of view in the whole country, we need infrastructure project to drive a whole country economy, and
Correct.
it's always from those super mega skill project. So we will see construction company there, banker able to give loan, and then we are able to get the developer and also the contractor there, and slowly you will see job opportunity. So the whole value chain, right, it's always start from those big infrastructure project.
Okay.
So I would say definitely in the past few years, Malaysia we quite rare to have super those mega skill project. And right now, definitely we are able to see it's a good news that finally, I think since last year, those foreign investors coming in, that we started to see a lot of this mega skill project started to drive the country economy. And this how one of part of reason the Malaysia currency also get strengthened. Yeah, I think the strengthening with all this investment coming into Malaysia definitely play a big role. So I think this balancing definitely has to be there, because when this mega skill project coming in, the value chain is all open up. Definitely, you will see this value chain eventually it will still go to those local businesses from mom and pop up to the local manufacturers. Yeah, because when this demand there, the value chain is able to drive up, and definitely everyone able to get this benefit from there.
You said it yourself that sometimes the whole value chain is also starts with a mega big projects.
Yes.
So should demand response capability be mandatory for large AI and data center facilities?
Yeah, I think definitely yes, we need it.
Okay.
Because when this coming in, it's also a kind of activator to activate the country have more urgency. For example, to upgrade our grid infrastructures, to accelerate the energy transition. for the country. And when we have all this, you will have more business opportunity, you have more job opportunity. Definitely, you are able to bring a lot of, I would say, this stimulation, or let's say this impact, to bring positive impact for the country economy. Because I would say, if we talk about the rakyat, the sentiment side today, I think people are quite proud that, okay, at least Malaysia is one of a country that has a lot of data center players invest in this country. And definitely in the past 1 year, we also were able to see there's a lot of data center related listed core, actually, in terms of their share price, in terms of their project business, able to bring a lot of different excitement in the economy. So yeah, definitely I would say, and also it kind of push for the engineering enhancement, because data center, to build it is not that easy. Have to be fast, precise, in terms of technology side. So I would say definitely the pro is more than cons.
Right. You as a group and also the CEO managing a lot of development, and you have to navigate all the challenges and create more opportunities for the whole ecosystem, from people and also the great. And if you could advise from your experience and observation, and if you could advise policymaker directly, what is the single most urgent reform needed to align with digital growth and even energy readiness? To wrap up our conversation, please share with us.
I would say definitely economic growth and energy readiness have to go concurrently, but do not forget the fundamental right now is always come from energy side.
Okay.
So energy is pretty important. And the other one is the policymaker have to ensure those policy in the country, in terms of those fee and also on the economic side, is able to work. So right now, definitely in terms of, I would say, the infrastructures on Khas is facing a challenge right now, as because there's a wheeling charges. I would say right now, if you look into the country, there's one fact that we have to face, which is in terms of the Khas, the successful of the Khas under this policy, the project is quite few. There are some project already get approval, but it just gets started very recently. It's mainly because of, in order to pay the wheeling charges right now, I would say, is still at the high side. So as an off-taker, they don't really see much of benefit if they buy clean energy, because in terms of a saving, it might not really there. That's the first thing. Secondly, right now, the global solar panel price or battery energy storage price has increased a lot since January, because from China's side, they are going to remove the tax exemption at the 1st of April. And right now, on China government, actually, they are lowered down the production for like solar energy in the entire China. And so right now, globally, on the price of renewable energy also has increased. So when the investment cost increase, when the policy itself, we still have to pay quite a high like SAC charges or wheeling charges, we will see the green power purchaser, in terms of their demand, it will reduce. So I think this is one of the key things that the policymaker, or let's say as an industry player, we will have to seriously look into this and see how do we need to adjust ourselves along the way to sail through the different
Not run, but we need to adjust and adapt, definitely.
have to adjust and adapt based on time, from time to time.
And that's a critical reminder. AI growth is not just a digital story, but it's a power story.
Yes.
And what you just shared with us throughout the whole conversation, readiness, transparency, and grid resilience will decide how far and how fast can Malaysia go. Thank you again so much for our guests. It's an honor to have you here, to Coach Wan Zan, the Group CEO and co-founder of Plus X Energy. Again, I hope to see you soon, and Happy Chinese New Year, and hope you had hope you can have a very good celebration after this. Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And definitely all of our discussion here will be featured in astro.com and across all social media platforms. And that's it from me. I'm Rozman. See you next time.
Asia tumpuan utama dunia. Dengan ekonomi yang semakin rancak, pembangunan lestari dan tenaga boleh diperbaharui, apakah pula impak kecerdasan buatan AI pada perkembangan teknologi dan masa depan pekerjaan? kami mendalami setiap berita dan cerita. Saksikan diskusi, dialog dan laporan khas di Agenda Awani Asia bersama koresponden khas kami setiap Sabtu 9 malam di semua platform Astro AWANI.
Hamas says it is fully prepared to hand over administrative authority in Gaza to a newly formed Palestinian Technocratic Committee. The US president cannot threaten his way into owning Greenland, an autonomous territory of Denmark.
Orang anak aku mati, Azri. Kau ingat aku masih boleh hidup dengan kau ke? Bahagia ke awak hidup atas derita anak-anak? Sampai bila awak nak jalankan tanggungjawab pada seorang isteri yang cacat ni?
Apa janji? Kalau Lia tak bahagia, apakah izinkan Lia pergi?
Mama akan buat apa saja untuk anak-anak, asalkan anak-anak Mama bahagia.
Aku cabar kau, Lia. Kalau kau hebat, kau hidup tak payah bergantung dengan suami kau.
Sanggup ke dia nak hadap kau ni sampai mati?
Berapa cadang nak bagi Ril handle satu projek besar yang kita baru dapat? Ril handle projek ni dengan Ril.
Projek tu tak boleh jalan ke kalau Ril tak kerja dengan Rin tu?
Kalau dia yang jadi penghalangnya, nak kau ceraikan dia.
Rin sanggup bermadu kalau Abang Rin sudi terima Rin.
Aku setuju jadi madu kau. Tapi ada syarat. Bayar aku 1 juta, aku jadi madu kau.
Andai itu takdirnya 2 Isnin hingga Khamis di Astro dan Astro Go.
Kementerian Pendidikan bertanggungjawab sepenuhnya terhadap keselamatan murid dan pelajar sewaktu mereka di sekolah.
Malaysia dan Korea Selatan terus memperkukuh kerjasama dalam bidang teknologi hijau dan kecerdasan buatan AI menerusi pelaburan 2 syarikat utama Republik itu.
SPRM akan meneliti dan menjalankan siasatan sekiranya dapat unsur rasuah dalam pelaksanaan projek Aerotrain di KLIA yang dilaporkan sering mengalami gangguan perkhidmatan.
Ada yang perdebatan bahawa GST perlu dikembalikan semula kerana dia mempertikaikan bahawa SST itu tidak efektif.
Isu buruh kanak-kanak bukan sahaja dalam bentuk fizikal tetapi juga bentuk moden yang lebih licik dan juga terselindung.
Kita tengok buruh kanak-kanak dan ada juga buruh paksa kanak-kanak.
Perkumpulan FB dikenali sebagai grup budak-budak sekolah rendah yang didakwa menyebarkan gambar remaja perempuan tidak senonoh telah pun ditutup.